Hi, welcome back for another edition of Health Hack. My name is Melissa Deely, and this week I want to talk to you about omega-3s, omega-6s, and the role inflammation plays in our health. But first of all, I just want to start out with some stats for you that I heard recently in a presentation I was listening to by Dr. Mercola, who has long been a doctor focusing on natural healing options for people. And this was rather shocking information. And so I wanted to share it with you. Heart disease, which I'm sure you are aware is the #1 killer in North America to this day, it wasn't always that way. And in fact, as recently as the 19th century, there were only 8 known cases of heart disease. And then when we got into the 1930s, that's when it became the leading cause of death. And yet, at the turn of the century, in the 1900s, just 30 years earlier, it was pretty much completely unknown. And by the time we got to 2010, it was 1 in 3 people were dying of heart disease. But it's not only heart disease. Type 2 diabetes was rare in the 19th century. 0.37% of people suffered from it in 1935, and now over 10% of the population has type 2 diabetes, with many more who have it and aren't aware that they have it. Obesity in the 19th century was 1.2% of the population. By 1960, it was 13% of the population. By 1999, it was 30.5% of the population. And by 2021, it was 42.4%. So clearly there is something wrong with what is going on in our world today and our health. And a big part of that is, unfortunately, our food and the food that is being made by the food industry without taking into account our health. And a piece of that is the level of omega-6s in our food, which is the inflammatory essential fatty acid. So our body does need omega-6s, but it's needed in ratio to our omega-3s, not just all omega-6s, which cause this inflammation and can trigger cells to turn on disease. So join me next time as I dive into this a little bit deeper, but I have a question for you. Do you know what your ratio is for omega-3s to omega-6s in your body? Because we can test for that. And it's powerful knowledge to have. So if that's something you'd like to know more about, please reach out to me, put a comment down below, and we can